Hello, friends. Welcome back. And for anyone who's new, welcome. My name is Shayna Farmer.
I'm Azriel Farmer.
And this is the Infinite Loop podcast. Today, we are here to talk about a phrase that has led to a lot of growth and we'll just stick with growth. A lot of growth in our life. And the phrase is, abundance is enough. Would you like to elaborate on that first?
Sure. As far as thoughts towards abundance, that's something that means, well, something entirely different to everyone. Your form of abundance tends to be something that is challenging. So when we think of abundance, we think of an excess almost. You have overage of anything. And then you have that sense of safety in a way, or security, because you have that overage. And in doing so, you're creating a mindset of lack. For as soon as that overage changes, all of a sudden it's this idea that you are no longer in the state of abundance. When you shift that perspective into this knowing of abundance is enough, then where you are in each moment and what you have in each moment is enough. For abundance comes in many forms. And when something is needed, it will be there. If your eyes are open to witness it and to see it, it might not take the form that you think, but it's there. And with that shifting of perspective, the opportunities of growth that come with that are limitless, for now you are open to seeing anything and everything. You are capable of creating abundance from anything. And with that, you are more prone and open to sharing. For that's what abundance is. It's an opportunity to share. To open your arms and your hearts to those beings that are around you. For when you're in a state of lack, you're closed. And as soon as you create that space, then with that, you'll have this ability to share without thoughts of anything other than sharing. Just wanting to give to give. You know, we are all here to contribute and support each other in our journeys. And part of doing that is giving. And you give in many different forms as well. So to be able to do so at your greatest capacity and at your greatest expression of love, how beautiful.
Yes. Beautifully put. The reason why we decided to choose this as a topic today is because it has been, just like in the last episode with trusting oneself, the phrase abundance is enough is one that we have rewritten within ourselves as individuals. For the concept of abundance has come into our lives in many different forms over the years. When we are told that the greatest form of abundance is through a monetary value, or that it has to be from something very physical, when we don't have that physical, tangible thing in front of us, that feeling of lack comes in. And when that feeling of lack comes in, all of a sudden, the ability to give isn't necessarily there. Where in our learned experience, that if you are looking at abundance not only from a physical point of view, but also an energetic point of view, then your cup very rarely runneth empty. For we live in this very physical, tangible reality, but we also are a part of a intricate web of frequency that I don't think that we're meant to understand with this brain, and we're meant to understand it with who we are and what we are. And by being able to see abundance from a different perspective, it has opened up our lives to so much more beauty and love and the ability to share in those frequencies, as well as those physical, tangible things as well. We have had a long journey in this realization, for it is a very different concept than modern society would have us believe. And part of what we enjoy doing is rewriting what has been told to us. I think we both have some outer planets in Sagittarius, which is very much that energy of freedom and doing things differently. And I think that's where these rewritings come from with us. And in getting back to speaking with you and doing these chats, the thing that has been lighting me up specifically is the ability to share these things that I have been able to transmute and transcend. To go into story time, I grew up in an environment that there was a lot of lack. There were a lot of times where it was thought of that there was a lack because our cabinets weren't full of food and our bank accounts weren't full of money. And as I've aged and moved through this journey, I've realized that it's not about amassing and collecting and having the ability to have all these things around us, but the ability to see that what you have is enough. That when you have this attitude of gratitude and you firmly feel within you that what you have around you is meant for you and is enough for you, that by shifting that perspective, the reality in which you're existing in also shifts.
The reality in which you're creating it within your inner world. Your inner world is your outer experience. the way that you respond to things and see things is all coming from within. It's about changing your thoughts of what wealth is. For if you are to gauge your idea of wealth in acts of kindness, you tend to be not only more grateful for each and every moment, you're sharing that and rippling that outward to everyone. For when someone receives that gratitude and that kindness, they share it as well. We all know what we feel. And when we feel something good, we want to share that. We want to be part of that.
There are infinite forms of energy. And for a very long time, my concept of abundance only came from a monetary standpoint. I remember years ago being in a spiritual group, in a spiritual community, and it being told to me that if I didn't have that physical money, that money wasn't coming in, then there was some type of lack within me. And that never felt right. And so instead of accepting the words of someone else, before that's someone else's experience, I used that opportunity to investigate what that meant for me. Because for me, I knew that as long as I had what I needed, I was grateful. I knew that it was enough. And then it shifted into reprogramming those thoughts through experiences, through, we'll go back to this, is in the last episode I talked about a moment where something really solidified, it really hit home, and I knew that this was the path going forward for me. And the example that sticks into my mind, which really took this energy of abundance being enough and putting it right here within me, was we used to own a homestead, and at one point our well pump stopped working. It was a 40-year-old well pump. It was original to the house, and we didn't have water. Well, at the time, Azriel was getting paid every 2 weeks, and he had just gotten paid, and we had paid our bills. And now we had $660 left in our account, but that's it. We never really got into using credit cards. That wasn't really our thing. We always just, if we had it, we used it. If we didn't, we don't. And we had done some research and found out that in order to change out a well pump, it was over $3,500 for a company to come out and do, which without a credit card and with $660 in our bank account, that wasn't a plausible solution. And I remember feeling very defeated, very, lost in that moment. And you came and you said, well, let's see what, we did the research, and Azriel went on YouTube and saw what it took to replace a well pump. And he said, let's go to Home Depot and see. We knew we needed more line, right? Like the line to go down, and we knew we needed the pump. And so we went to Home Depot, and for the pump we needed, and for the material we needed, it was $658. And I remember standing in Home Depot with this feeling of immense gratitude, because just hours beforehand I had been feeling so defeated. How are we going to feed our animals? How are we going to get through the next 2 weeks? How can you even function without water? The basic forms of life: food, water, shelter. And then to trust that we had the ability to do something about it, and to be standing in this place with almost exactly what was needed, because everything else was covered. All of the bills had just been paid. We had food. We all this so it didn't matter if it took 2 weeks for abundance or funds to come in again, because there was nothing else that we needed. And long story short, Azrael was able to fix the well pump. He was able to do everything that we needed to do. And it was this moment where I knew that I had to have faith in trusting that what I have within me, what I have around me, is enough. But then not only having faith that it's enough, but being grateful that what's there is there. And to release those feelings, which really for me stemmed from childhood, but to be able to release those feelings of not having enough, or reinstilling that faith that whatever was really needed would be there. Not the things that we think is needed, not the distractions, but the actual food, water, shelter, love would always be provided. And from that moment on, I mean, I've told this story countless times, but really from that moment on, it's been really solidified within my soul that whatever is truly needed will be provided, and to hold the faith in that, for we are endlessly abundant. We live in an existence where everything we need is around us. And to pigeonhole the word abundance to meaning something, just this one small thing, is really limiting how you're able to experience this reality.
It's a remembering. You know, we speak of reinstilling. I like to call it a remembering. It's a remembrance of what we know to be true. It's when you really go within and see an experience for what it is, you remember its full capacity, everything that it's offering you, everything that it's showing you and sharing with you. Remember that abundance is enough, that you are enough, and share that with everyone that's willing to hear it. But first with yourself, for the more that you remember, the greater capacity that you have to step forward in your light.
Yes, and the more that you hold on to these limiting thoughts that abundance is, when we think that abundance only comes in the form of money, we are limiting how we see the world. We are taking our version of reality and we're putting it into a piece of paper. Because that's really all it is. And if we can put so much importance and emphasis on this piece of paper, then you can put it on anything. You can put it on the trees, you can put it on the leaves, you can put it on the light that shines through the windows. It doesn't have to be this one thing. And I think that it's just an important, it's important for us all to be able to refrain and change our perspective, because we are the creators of this reality. Our brains are what forms the existence around us. And when we're able to open up a new pathway, it allows so much beauty into this existence. And it's really something that has brought so much abundance into our lives that I really wanted to share that concept.
Embrace and accept what you know to be true, in what form of wealth really sits with you. For this is the only moment that's guaranteed. And when you do transition, you will not be thinking of the material aspects of life. What you'll know as you move forward is the love that you've shared with everything. Remember what's true to you and share that love, friends.
Yes. Share that abundance within your heart. Share that abundance within you. And not allow an energy of lack due to only one very small aspect of this existence. For as long as you have everything you need, you are abundant. And in times of feeling that you don't have what you need, it is a moment to reflect on where that energy is going, where your thoughts are going, where you're putting that energy.
Thank you for joining us and sharing with us, or sharing this moment with us. For it is an opportunity to deepen our appreciation of that word, abundance.
Yes.
Be love. I love you all.
We love you. We'll see you next time.